70% of Democrats support amnesty for illegal immigrants, according to Rasmussen. 47% of voters said that Trump's immigration policies have been too harsh. 32% said they were just right. 70% said not harsh enough. 70% of Democrats support legislation toward amnesty to illegal immigrants who are in the United States, according to this poll. So if Democrats get power, we know exactly what they're going to do. For what, the fourth time now? They're going to let a large block of non-citizens become citizens. And I don't know, what is this, Rome?
Yeah. I mean, I'm 41 now, and I cannot remember a single election during my adult lifetime that was considered legitimate. Like starting with Bush and Gore, and then you had Obama and the birth certificate, and then you had all the questions of Russiagate and everything with Trump, and then it was the election with Biden and all the counts there. Nobody has accepted truly an election as legitimate the whole time I've been able to vote as an adult. And we're all still standing around like that's not going to have a cost eventually, right? So now we're done like making arguments. The Democrats are just going to import new voters, or if they can't win that way, they're just going to do violence. But the idea that like they're just going to say, oh, well, I guess the Republicans, they just won that election and now that's just the way things are, that is never happening again. It hasn't happened the whole time I've been around.
We'll be in prison. We'll be in the gulag.
Gulag.
That's what worries me about the Zoran stuff, dude. If the Democrat Party is positioning themselves in support of Zoran and his policies, and they win the midterms, that's frightening.
Yeah, well,
it's terrifying.
And the thing about Zoran that's so disturbing is he's importing like a third world form of authoritarianism that's kind of foreign. Like the Democrats, yes, they have demonstrated they have this proclivity, but it's not the third world style, where the third world style is legitimately just killing your political enemies, throwing them in jail, et cetera, et cetera. And yeah, the Democrats have flirted with that, but Zoran importing that style of, vaguely left-wing politics is like really disturbing, because that for them is not even really about pushing any policy down the field. It's literally just about vengeance, retribution. This is what you saw in Uganda. I mean, Idi Amin, like, what can anybody name a single policy of his? Like, I don't know, but all I know is he was, persecuting his political enemies. It's a form of vengeance that is particular to that part of the world. And then you're going to bring, that voter base in to support. You're going to bring that voter base in from the third world that will continue to advocate for these policies. Don't believe me? Look at Minneapolis. Look at Ilhan Omar. Mm-hmm. All she's doing is just
little Somalia.
Everyone's like, how is it that she's a Muslim but supports LGBT? It's because that's not the point. The point is just like retribution and vengeance.
Destroy America. So it's also divide and conquer. It is, we want a Somali Muslim community where we live, and we need to weaken their machine to empower ours.
It's amazing how gullible conservatives are. If you just throw some kind of ideological gobbledygook at them, they'll just debate that forever rather than notice the obvious. Like, no, foreign hordes are importing their own people to take over your stuff. Like you could track this back to thousands of years in BC and it wouldn't matter. It's the same strategy. Nothing has changed about human nature. The fact that you have some abstract ideology where you think that as soon as someone walks into America, they randomly become George Washington. Like, sorry, but that's not actually how it works. But conservatives will just debate this endlessly rather than recognize the obvious.
What if we created some kind of viral gene manipulation where when they walked in, we spray them and then they actually turn into George Washington?
Yeah, their IQ goes up 20 points. They gain all of the...
just go,
I don't get it. We gave them the pocketbook constitutions and they still want to eat me. Like, what is it?
No, I think you're all wrong, because clearly, as everybody knows, once we delivered the American constitutional system to Liberia, they became a developed, heavily civilized nation, and it's a
They just launched their space station. It's going great.
It's great.
Oh, yeah.
It's like one of those air hogs you just stomp
they
on
still
it.
eat each other. There's a lot of cannibalism there, but...
You get hungry,
The space station was a drawing from a tourist who was there, not actually the country of Liberia.
In crayon, but...
In crayon. Liberia is a really great example of this multiculturalism is fake. We go to this place, we establish a colony, we say, here's how the government works, and they're like, so we eat each other? And we're like, no, you vote, but I want to eat him. And then it's like, we come back to check on them, and they're like, how's the government going? And they're just like...
It was delicious. The government was delicious.
Barbecue's in charge now. I don't know what to tell you.
No, what was the guy's name? What was the actual guy's name? Butt Naked, General Butt Naked.
Yeah.
General Butt Naked.
Yeah, barbecue is Haiti.
Right. Like
they're eating people there
losing
too.
track of all the cannibals.
Wherever you're eating people.
Isn't he still doing that?
I'm confused by this. Could you explain to us why giving an American constitutional system to people in Liberia did not create a utopia?
Sure. So constitutions are not just written documents. Constitutions are literally what it sounds like. They are the way that the people are constituted. And so when we write down things on a piece of paper, we're just capturing what we were in that moment. So the reason that the American founding document is so beautiful is not just that the words on paper are great, though they are. It's that the people who wrote them down were capturing the way they lived their lives and actually showing us this is who we are as a people. If you replace the people, you replace the Constitution. It doesn't matter if you still have a written document, the document is not enough. So like South Africa has one of the most amazing constitutions ever in a lot of people's mind. It promises housing and all these amazing things. And guess what? South Africa sucks. And it's because the Constitution itself cannot mediate what's happening there. The document can only work if it's a shared agreement about your traditions, your heritage, your religious beliefs, your values. And the minute you treat that legal document as like the actual structure of your government, you've completely failed to understand what holds your country together. And this is why it matters what the people believe and the quality of the people, which is what the founders actually told us. That was what John Adams said. We need a moral and religious people. The country's not going to work. The Constitution is not going to work. It's not because he thought the Constitution was bad or failed or couldn't do the job. It's that he knew constitutions were only a reflection of their people. And so if you hand a constitution foreign to Liberia, they will act like Liberians and not whatever the Constitution says.
Yeah, like they were so obviously like pretty exclusive about who they viewed as an American. I mean, like Thomas Jefferson bought a Quran. And everyone points to this. They're like, see, he was this open-minded guy. He like went to war with Libya like right after he read it. He's like, what? Okay, let's go and find a country over there, just invade them. Like the founding fathers were like very clear of who because this is one of the last questions Charlie Kirk sort of posed to the conservative movement was like, what is an American? And like that's a really vital question that's screaming out for an answer.
Well, and John Jay actually told us in Federalist Number 2, which is so weird because like we have this whole like body of what the founders actually thought, and we all just kind of ignore it when we debate the founders' values. He said it's one nation and one people. We're descended from the same people, speaking the same language, sharing the same religion. Like it wasn't coy about what a nation was.
Yeah.
Like he was very explicit.
Well, you made this point, I think it was on Tucker, where you were saying like that Anglo-Protestant sort of ethos that captured like the founders sort of the way that they viewed the world, what their culture was, their religion, et cetera, et cetera. Like the closer you get to that, the closer you will get to the Constitution just kind of being natural and flowing. And the further away you get from that, the more it's going to be a little bit convoluted. And then, you look at Minneapolis and it's like they just view the Constitution as restrictive and irritable and an imposition rather than like just kind of a natural outflowing. Where I look at the Constitution, I'm like, that makes sense. Yeah, totally.
Right. I'm not one of these people who thinks that it's entirely impossible for someone to assimilate to the United States. Like even Pat Buchanan said that people can assimilate to the United States. But he was very clear, they have to have something to eliminate or assimilate to, right? Like that you have to have a predominant culture. And if you bring in a lot of people who don't share that culture all at once, that culture will cease to be. That's as obvious as it can be to anyone in the world. Right. So it's not like you can't bring a few people in from a foreign country because they married an American or they're an exceptional person and they can learn the ways of America over time and over generations their family can become American. But you can't just walk millions of people in and be like, well, we read the Constitution and now they're all Americans.
I got it. MK Ultra, remember that?
Mm-hmm. Oh.
Anyone who comes to this country has to get MK Ultra.
It's not bad.
2 weeks, locked in a room with no windows, metal, whatever they're called, holding your eyes open while you watch just like
JD Vance memes.
DHS edits.
All right.
Yeah,
DHS memes.
Yeah. Aura farming from the
It might work. That's better than our current strategy. Yeah. Well, I mean, to your point too, is like, you have to have something to assimilate too, because this is like something conservatives keep saying. I'm like, well, this is not true. It's like, they're like, how did someone like Zorn, he's not assimilated. How did this happen? I'm like, have you ever been to the outer boroughs of New York City? He actually reflects.
Fits in perfectly.
Yeah, he reflects the new group there like very well, actually. It's like, you new around here? This is kind of what our cities look like these days.
The one silver lining to Zoran and what's happening in New York City is they're going to speed run this test of socialism in arguably the largest. It's still by population the largest city in America, right?
2 times as big.
Yeah. So they're going to speed run this test, and I predict that it's going to fail miserably. And so you could get a conservative New York after all this.
I don't think so because Jack Posobiec.
It's a dream, but I can.
Jack
dream.
Posobiec made this point, and it's just really poignant, and it's kind of a hard pill to swallow, but it's true. He was talking about the New York City mayoral election. He's like, this isn't an election about policy anymore. This is an election that's basically a census. This is an election about demographics.
That's right. California, is it better run now or when it was in the 50s and 60s?
Right.
But you can't get a Republican elected in California anymore. Why? Is it because Democrats are so much better at running California? No, the electoral results don't matter. You moved a bunch of people into the United States and shifted the demographics of California.
That's
all that matters.
But whatever the reason, it is obvious that California is mismanaged and not being run properly. So the option is Trump should declare an insurrection and go in and clean it up.
Yeah, your options are either to separate from these people or to rule them. There is no other option, right?
To rule them.
Yeah. Those are your options.
I do think New York will be different than what you're describing in California, because that was like a slow rot problem, right? Like it was decades of mismanagement and then all of a sudden you look back and you're like, how did we get here? With Zoran's policies about like privatizing the grocery stores, I think he wants to make social grocery stores. That's change that's going to happen overnight, and it's people's going to see that impact.
But do you
overnight.
really think about how awesome it is for people who don't live in New York? We could get like a big box truck, go to one of his commie stores, buy a ton of stuff, and just bring it here, and we save tons of money. And it's them who's collapsing. We'll then sell these goods at low rates to the stores here for a small profit. You exploit the communism.
You know, that's a joke, but I guarantee there's people already thinking of this, like in neighboring states. Like, I can't wait.
Exactly why this is so dumb. People are, and not even neighboring states. You're going to live in New York, and you're going to go to these stores, and you're going to say, no profit products, I'll take the lot. Then they're going to drive across the way to Jersey, and they're going to be like, I can sell it to you at cost for delivery. You guys, look, the 20% margin gone. I make 5%, you make 15%, and they're going to be like, "This is amazing." And then these stores will never have food in them.
They're doing this at the casino. You see these people walk up and they buy like a whole carton of cigarettes, and I'm like, "Why? That's insane! You're paying casino price. It's like $15 a pack." They're taking it because they've got bonus points through the casino, taking it and selling it somewhere else.
Well, you know, in Chicago, the way it works is that Illinois passed these taxes on cigarettes, but Indiana didn't. So people would drive to Indiana, buy a ton of cartons of cigarettes. Then every party you were at, people were like, smokes, who wants smokes?
Yeah.
And they called them squares back then.
I bartered with cigarettes all through Africa because like in the capital you could get them.
I thought we were getting a prison story. Go ahead. Sorry.
Well, Africa really is one big prison when you really think about it. Yeah, but like, I would be like in Nairobi, and then when I was in like the countryside in the bush, there's no access to cigarettes there. So I wasn't even using it. I was just using them to barter. Like I'd pay for taxis and stuff with them because it's just like, even though it's worth less than what the taxi would have cost, or the taxi you're just hopping on the back of a motorcycle, using the cigarette, they're like, oh, well, I don't have to go to Nairobi anymore. I can just help this guy out.
But I do want us to just remember this. Like, it's really, really important. Is the economics dumb? Yes. Do they even know the economics is dumb? No. They might, actually. The point is, this is not about the economic system. This is a raid.
Right.
Like, this is how to loot the treasury. It's not about, I figured out Karl Marx is actually correct about distribution of goods. No. This is about people from a foreign country coming in, seeing that you have stuff that they don't have, and then taking it from you. Like, this is not about an economic system.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.